Well, just minutes before Air Force One touchdown, President Trump tweeted attacking the Mayor of London, who'd earlier said the UK should not roll out the red carpet for him. The President said Sadiq Khan, who by all accounts has done a terrible job as Mayor of London, has been foolishly nasty to the visiting President of the United States, by far the most important ally of the United Kingdom. He is a stone-cold loser who should focus on crime in London, not me. Khan reminds me very much of our very dumb and incompetent Mayor of NYC, de Blasio, who's also done a terrible job, only half his height. In any event, I look forward to being a great friend to the United Kingdom and am looking very much forward to my visit, landing now. So that was just minutes before he touched down. Well, President Trump and First Lady Melania were greeted at Stansted Airport by the Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt. Jeremy Hunt said that one of the first things the President mentioned was Sadiq Khan. He told me that the President's visit should be above party politics.
This is a president who we've got used to being very controversial and very combative, but he's made the comments he's made. I actually agree with him that it's totally inappropriate for the Labour Party to be boycotting this incredibly important visit. This is the President of the United States. We're celebrating the D-Day landings when we had 1 million American servicemen stationed in the UK, willing to risk their lives for our liberty, for democracy, for our values. And I think that this should be above party politics. So I think it's absolutely disgraceful, not least, frankly, because today in the newspapers, the Labour Party itself is being accused of turning a blind eye to sexism in the Labour Party headquarters, to anti-Semitism by its candidate in Peterborough. So I think we've got to put these things aside and remember this is a very special moment in our relationship, celebrating 75 years of peace and prosperity because of that partnership between the UK and the USA.
Jeremy Hunt, who was amongst those who greeted the President at Stansted Airport. Let's go to our assistant political editor, Norman Smith, who is in Westminster. Norman, it's a state visit. It should be more about the pomp and ceremony than the politics, but already the politics have taken centre stage with that Trump that obviously President Trump knew exactly what he was doing when he sent it just minutes before touchdown.
I mean, in some ways, Gianni, you'd say, well, maybe not surprising given sort of the past track record of insults between these two men. They obviously heartily loathe each other. But in another way, very surprising given that it is, an important state visit, given that it is to commemorate the D-Day landings, the seriousness of all that for some reason the President, even before he steps off the plane, is firing off tweets about Sadiq Khan. And then when he gets off the plane to be greeted by Jeremy Hunt, complaining to Jeremy Hunt about Sadiq Khan. And what I conclude from that is that actually the President, one, he bears grudges, and the two men, as we know, have scrapped for the past 2 or 3 years, but also slightly thin-skinned, perhaps, that he feels the need to go on the offensive in this way. But it is part and parcel, as we know, of the President's makeup. He is unpredictable. He does things his way. He's not frightened to speak out. For what it's worth, Sadiq Khan, his spokesperson, has said that the mayor regards these as childish insults, but then he's sort of, well, not going into the same sort of language, as stuck by the comments he made in the papers yesterday, in effect warning that President Trump was a sort of return to the sort of attitudes and language that we saw from fascists in the 1930s. And again, saying, the spokesperson this morning, saying that President Trump was the most egregious example of this new right wing emerging in Europe. So the tit for tat continues, even though Sadiq Khan isn't using quite the same sort of volatile language as the President.